Prepare yourself for a sprawling discussion on just about anything, where critical thinking meets pop culture in a collision of mind-bending proportions. Please secure all neurons and prepare for full frontal cortex. It's time for Incoherent Ramblings. Dun 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 dun! Everybody! Dun 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 dun! Dun 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 dun! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Rambling 007 Star Wars. Everything about Star Wars, from the first movies to the last, to the expansion, to Disney and Mickey. Everything, oh my god.
All of the time.
So, Star Wars, fun time. I'm Joey Sham, and we also have...
Padme.
Nope.
Cale Anderson.
We're getting there.
And Daryl Jors.
And Paul Hunter.
And last but not least, by telephone,
Robert Magallanes.
Thank you, Booger.
There's apparently a sunlight delay. All right.
Okay, yeah. We will call him, like last week, we may call him Booger, or Robert, or Butthole. What the hell?
Just like last week, I've been called worse today alone.
Someone's got their dragon naturally speaking.
No, it was actually me.
Oh,
okay, so Star Wars. We're going to talk about today, but first, if you haven't watched Star Wars, why are you listening to our podcast?
Go watch it, then come back.
Yeah, so no spoiler alerts on this.
We don't want to give anything away.
It's not a father.
Yeah.
There are some seriously weird relations going on.
Yeah.
Watch episode.
Speaking of weird relations, this episode is brought to you by Perky Padme.
Yeah.
Paul, why don't you explain what you brought?
Perky?
So we have Perky Padme here, which is a Star Wars Unleashed figure circa probably 2003, maybe 04. And it's a 6-inch resin figure of Padme Amidala in the Geonosia scene after her shirt was ripped apart by that tiger thing. And she's ready for battle with a nice ensemble of a nice silver chain. But more importantly, her nipples are poking out.
She actually does have the slashes on the back.
Yeah, she's been slapped.
Huh.
Now you might think something like this is going to go for like what, $100? But how much is it today, Paul? For anybody who calls in the next 30 minutes,
they can have it for $29.95 plus $3 shipping and handling.
So call now. We only have one left. Oh, sorry, Star Wars. Okay, so here we go.
We don't have a number, do we?
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
So if you do get through, I'm not giving it to you.
All right, guys. So Star Wars. Let's start off. Just a quick one-sentence opinion of what you think about Star Wars, the whole epic saga, and then we'll move on to the movie. So first off, I'm a Star Wars. Oh no, Booger, go ahead. I heard you. Breathe in. Go, go, go.
Okay, I'm going to sum up my feelings about the whole saga in 3 words. Han shot first.
That he did.
All right, Paul, go for it. Oh, by the way, Paul is our resident Star Wars expert.
Yes.
So what do you have to say?
Sum it up as
that's what I meant.
Fun science fiction mythology with lightsabers and an Ewok.
Okay, and Daryl.
Oh, what can I say that these guys haven't already? Nothing.
Lando is smooth.
All right. I
like
pass.
Smooth. Okay.
Yes.
All right. First of all, if you're wondering who the hell is talking right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
It's Cale. My voice, I had a bad flu, and I was coughing a bunch, and I'm all better, but my voice is still shot. So, it is me.
Do your best Marlon Brando.
Yeah. My best Marlon. Stella!
Do your best Chewbacca. That was actually...
Nah, I'm not a good Chewbacca fan.
All right, so we're going to start on the original... Oh, I didn't say it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars since I was a kid, and even today, because I love epic sagas, and this is as epic as it gets.
Episode number 5.
4
was the best.
Oh, 5 was the best. Yes, we will get to that. I think a lot of people agree. But maybe not. We'll see. Let's
because it was hosted by Starscream.
No, not that. That is true.
Did you know there was Cobra Commander in one of the Transformer episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was in the Middle East one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it was something like that.
Yeah, he was the...
yeah, anyway.
Gas guy. Yeah.
But I think that I totally agree with Cale.
What did you say?
Empire,
yeah, okay.
Definitely.
So let's start off with Star Wars as the original name, or as it later became A New Hope during its second release in the 80s. Episode 4. So, Star Wars, Lucas decided to start this thing in the middle. What do you guys think about Star Wars as a whole? I'll say from my point of view, it's story-wise, it's a nice little package. I mean, it's and say nothing like Luke's got a small package or anything, but just saying it's a nice package all tied together. And you start off with a kid, and he wants to be something more, and then he becomes something more.
Yeah, you got to remember that,
it's the
A New
hero's journey
Hope.
we talked about.
A New Hope, it has a beginning and end because there was no guarantee there was going to be a sequel, and the New Hope barely got made.
Oh, wasn't that why he destroyed the Death Star in it? Because he originally was going to save that till the end.
I don't know.
No, what I had heard is he originally was going to.
Sounds good.
Yeah, he was originally going to. His original plan was, had he all the money in the world back then, he would have not destroyed the Death Star at the end of Episode 4. He would have waited till Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, as we know it now.
So that he didn't have to do it over and over again?
Well, no, because he didn't think there'd be any more movies, just like Paul was saying. That's why he rebuilt it, was because that was supposed to be the big finale at the end of the series.
They got Caltrans working on it, so it was delayed. And right.
For those out of state, Caltrans is our street people.
We need out-of-state
street walkers.
we need in-state listeners.
So, he was... And originally, it was going to be the big battle on Endor was against the Wookiees, but his idea was he wanted it to be no technology beats the huge technology empire.
Yeah. Well,
so the
and also with the Wookiees,
the walkers from Walking Dead. Is that what we're talking about?
Oh my God, no.
That'd be awesome. With the Wookiees too, I think it was also that it wasn't against the Wookiees at the end of Jedi because Chewbacca was established as a smart technological
character.
Character.
So he shrunk.
But he went to college.
That's true. He did go to DeVry for
exactly.
And so he shrunk.
Moisture evaporators, and
he signed up for Falcon training, and it was totally different than what he thought.
Oh my God.
So they shrunk him down, made him cute, gave him eyes that didn't blink. Oh wait, they do blink now.
Yes.
And and made
creepy.
him Ewoks, and the over cuteness was crazy. Yeah. But let's get back to Star Wars.
When we get to Jedi, I'll tell you about the Ewoks.
So, Star Wars. I didn't see it in the theater, though, because I was too young. I was born in 75, so 77. Even when it was re-released, I didn't ever see it.
You saw 5 and 6.
I saw 5 and 6 in the theater.
My mom and dad told me I saw it.
Times.
I saw it.
Really?
I saw the first one 9 times in the theater.
Holy cow.
Okay, well, let me hear, because you were old enough. What did you think? Because you get that first spaceship, apparently. My dad told me about that. When it was coming over, and, you see the bay first, you think, oh, it's the end of the spaceship. Then it keeps going and going.
It just blew us all away. Everybody in the theater just went, oh my God, because we'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
and it just kept going and going.
It makes me wonder about with the technology that was employed for the models and all the space photography, if the actors involved actually knew what things were going to look like.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because they
probably.
It's like if you're in a movie now, you kind of think, okay, I'm going to be surrounded by CG wherever there's a green spot.
Yeah.
You know? But back then it was pretty new.
They were building the ships and all that stuff in up north,
right,
in California.
Oh, that's right.
While they were filming in London
and
and Tunisia and everything.
Like,
so I don't think they knew what things were going to look like. Well, the people building it didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
They were building it on the fly.
And everyone sitting in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon was probably thinking, this is going to be lame. It's going to be fun.
Probably.
We're going to have a little rocket with a smoke trail.
This is going to be Flash Gordon material.
Yeah, exactly.
The little sparklers coming out the back.
Speaking of Flash Gordon, Lucas tried to get the rights to Flash Gordon because that's what he wanted to make. Because he couldn't get the rights to Flash Gordon, he wrote Star Wars.
Thank
interesting.
You. I'm glad he didn't get the rights.
It was also a big leap in sound design as well, because before that, sound design was kind of incidental in a lot of movies. But there's so many distinctive sounds. You hear a blaster, and you know what kind it is. You hear a lightsaber.
Yeah, Ben Burt did an awesome job of really making a catalog of sounds.
This guy knows the names.
And
cool.
stuff, yes.
Okay.
Hey, Daryl. Right now, are you able to receive files in your email while we're doing this podcast?
Well, I could try, but I might drop you because you're on.
Send to me because I'm on.
Oh, okay, good. Because I have a pretty apropos picture I stumbled upon actually yesterday that I thought you guys might want to take a look at as you discuss this sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Cool. We'll send it over and then we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. So Star Wars. Another good thing about it, I think, was the special effects for the time were just incredible, amazing. Blew everybody away. But also what about the main villain, Darth Vader? I mean, he obviously we find out now the trilogy was pretty much based around him.
Kale just saw the picture.
Kale. By the way,
he saw his picture.
Booger, the picture's now on Trello. If you want to see the Padme picture, just look at the Ramble 7.
Kale likes Padme.
Anyway, so Darth Vader is the villain. What do you guys think from the Star Wars point of view only, though?
More like padded bra, me.
Yeah. Well,
Joey's trying to bring us back to the dark side here. We were already there.
Well, Kale, what do you think when Vader first came out? When you saw it, was it?
I never knew he was gay.
Because it is.
It was like when they used the shark in Jaws, where it worked better when you didn't see as much, and because all you see is this black figure, it's so menacing. Right. It's kind of like he's a ring wraith.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's kind of how we felt like when we were watching it. We were all just blown away.
A glossy painted ring wraith.
Yeah. And it's very good versus evil.
Well, Luke's wearing white.
The White Knight, Black Knight, the Lone Ranger, and
okay, so who was Contact?
The Red Ranger, the Blue Ranger, the Pink Ranger.
Was the Black Ranger the Black Ranger?
He was.
He was.
And the Yellow Ranger was the Asian girl.
Show
Yellow Ranger was the Asian
where they go see Star Wars for the first time? In the 70s show? Did you see that?
No.
Well, that was exactly like me and my friends. They showed them watching it, and all the guys, it starts up and they're joking around, and then all of a sudden they just sit there and go,
mouth
open. Oh my, that's exactly what it was.
Well, I understand at the beginning it wasn't the big hit that we identify it as. Like, it was in the theater for a while, and then it caught fire by the summer.
It was only in like a handful of theaters, like 12 theaters or something like that, when it was first opened. Man's Chinese was one of them.
Booger, did you attach that to Trello?
So it wasn't until the summer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we get to Empire. That's
cool. Kind of a slow burn, I guess. Well, another thing too that's interesting is that along the way there was a limited budget. It was a big dream that Lucas had to put this together, and no one knew it was going to be a success. And
I don't think 20th Century Fox even.
Well, after THX 1138.
Yeah.
A lot of it, and he did go to like Paramount or Universal and all that, and they passed on the idea.
Well, yeah, and I think that where George Lucas excels is in adversity and creation of something huge and epic storytelling.
We've seen with the prequels what happens when he's surrounded by yes men.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to episode 3, because there's a part in there that...
But wait, are we going to go there?
No!
Oh, I have a thing about the no, too, later, I'll tell you.
Oh.
There's no in everything.
Yeah. I remember when I first heard the no, but we'll get to that too. All right, so anything else you guys want to bring up about Star Wars before we move to episode 5, a.k.a. the good one?
Han shot first.
Han did shoot first.
Well, we'll talk about his revisions a little bit later when we get through the movies, because I think that's something, Daryl brought that up, and I think that's an excellent point we have to talk about.
I think, too, I'd say in New Hope, that there's this scene, when we first see Luke, he's the whiny teenager. I mean, that's all he knows. He's just
Tashi Station.
When we saw the re-release, and he comes out and says, "When I want to go to Tashi Station, pick up Power Force," everyone in the theaters are going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
But when he's still all whiny, and then he goes to meets Ben and stuff, and he's still like, "Well, I can't go because my uncle and stuff," and then he realizes when they find the Jawas that his aunt and uncle, they may have gone to his place, and when he goes there and he sees the burned place and the carcasses and all that, and you hear the music, you gotta listen to the music at that point. He looks down and then he looks up, and as he looks up and the music crescendos up, it's almost like that's where it switches on, where it's on. I'm pissed off.
That's another really good point about the sound. The John Williams score on
the music is like the oxygen of Star Wars.
That's good.
It's the air. Yes. I heard that I read that.
That's very good, though.
So I didn't make that up.
No, I totally agree with that. The music is.
But it is. If you take the music out, it's another character.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. That part is so incremental in the beginning of the switch.
And then he comes back and he's like, "I want to go to Alderaan and become a Jedi."
And Lucas has been quoted as saying that a movie is at least 50% sound. You could just turn the picture off, and what you hear tells the story.
Yeah.
And a lot of directors have said pretty much the same thing. Like, you should be able to turn the sound off in a movie and still understand the story based on, even though you don't hear the dialogue and whatnot, you can still see the characters emote. You can tell what they're saying based on their gestures and emotions and everything coming off of the visuals. And then you should also be able to turn the visuals off and hear only the sound.
Yeah.
And you get all the sound cues
feeling
that tell you what's happening, like there's a spaceship flying by, etc. There are laser blasters.
And speaking of sound cues, you can't blame me for all that clicking sound going on right now.
Oh, was that Joey?
It's not me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not clicking.
I'm not clicking either.
Nothing.
Are you clicking?
No, I am not touching a thing. Not even myself.
Oh, no.
All I hear is this clean clanging going on.
I didn't really notice it, so Daryl, put something in the background if it's not there, when you re-edit.
Maybe it's R2.
Click, click, click.
Yeah, one thing with the music, too, is Williams, the way he was trained and the way he wanted, classically trained, and then he wanted to, add the character element to the music, is that, each character has their own theme. Mm-hmm. It has their own, so it when they're on screen and something big's happening, that's played in. So you have the feeling of the Han and Leia theme. You have a feeling of the Luke and the Yoda and the Empire and stuff. So it really adds a lot to the storyline.
To the best of your knowledge, is that the first time that was done? Because now I find it to be somewhat commonplace. And
before that, I don't know.
It's a testament to how much influence Star Wars had.
Or that was John Williams.
Because that was the theme of the shark.
Yeah,
and
that was John Williams.
Maybe that's kind of where you got the idea from.
But the thing about having individual
Spielberg
characters
introduced it to Lucas. He's like, I got a sound guy, I got a music guy. You need to use.
When you got John Williams, a guy who is a Beethoven, he is of that quality. Even though he's here with us modern day, just brilliant. He's a brilliant.
Hey, John.
He might have done that in the old musicals and stuff.
He wasn't as renowned back then, though. There's another.
This was his big beginning.
Right.
And he does other music.
It's another. That's another topic we were going to bring up after we hit the movies here, but about how Lucas had a penchant for bringing in unknowns. Actors that kind of like came and went with the franchise, really.
If you ever go to a John Williams concert, you'll love the first half. Second half, you're just like, what the hell?
Yes, I'd like to play something from the 1942.
The Easter Parade or something. You're like, okay, let's go back to indie.
Well, he'll play other composers' works.
Yeah. All right, why don't we move on to Empire? Because unless you guys...
I just want to think, Star Wars, A New Hope was so big that when they were going to decide to make Star Trek, because Paramount was mad that Star Wars came out, I heard that the producers or whatever told them to make it bigger than Star Wars, bigger than anything you've ever seen. It's like, make Star Trek meet God.
Oh my God.
And we got, Vader. But anyways, that's another podcast.
So it's like, it took...
Vader.
So it took all the way until Abrams took it over until that actually happened.
Yeah.
Well, no, 4 was pretty good.
No, Star Trek 5.
Star Trek 5 was...
Remember the Meet the God?
Oh, they do Meet the God. That's right. In Star Trek, he did.
Yeah. Spock's brother.
Okay.
I forgot all about that because it was such a crappy movie. All right. Let's move on to Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back, which I actually saw in the theater. My only memory, though, is because I was so young. I remember I saw it with my my cousins and my aunt and uncle when they were babysitting us. And my only memory, because I wasn't old enough to follow what was going on at all, and I don't even know if I'd even watched Star Wars yet, was when Luke and Darth Vader were fighting, and then Luke goes over the edge, and then he comes back up, and Darth Vader's gone. And then it's quiet. And all of a sudden, Darth Vader sneak attacks him. Scared the hell out of me. Oh, my God. I was like a horror movie to me.
Well, it's the music, too.
It was because it was quiet.
Yeah.
And then he hears breathing again.
I think I should add that the story goes that I was about like 2.5 and saw the original Star Wars at a drive-in theater.
Oh,
but
really?
I have no memory of it. So, yes.
Yeah, the same thing. I don't know. I have vague memories of seeing Empire.
I'm pretty sure I saw Empire more than 9 times.
CNN.
More than 9 times in the theater, I think.
My dad somewhere got bootleg videotapes of all these movies, and from his work he knew people. So that's where I grew up on them. Were VHS copies in our brand new VCR, which we got in the 80s.
We recorded them on Select TV.
Yeah. Select.
Yeah, the green button. Or
How about that? What was that? Home box office?
Do you remember that there was a code that you could get all the premium stations? Yeah. You could just you had to hit 4 buttons together.
Okay, this is what we did. My dad worked for Falcon Cable at the time. And he knew this. He didn't work. He was like a sales guy.
Too bad they didn't last till the millennium.
He knew that.
I made someone die with that joke.
he knew that the only time they could catch you not having the wrong channels was 9 to 5 because they had to be in the office. So when they did a free preview and you got all the channels, if you unhooked your TV, your cable,
we did that.
Yeah, and if you unhooked it and only put it on after 5 o'clock, you keep everything for as long as you could until you made the mistake to plug it back in from 9 to 5. So we had everything for a long time.
Wow,
that's how you. Wow,
yeah, we actually did that too.
All right,
I can't remember why, but
Empire Strikes Back, the good one, as they say. I think basically because what's his name,
Kirsch.
Yeah, Kirshner, the director. If you guys get a chance out there and you haven't seen it, listen to the.
You know what?
Not that.
Wow!
What the hell?
You okay, Booger?
Booger, you there?
Step away from the computer.
Did you fall in?
What the hell are you talking
Shut
about?
them all off! Shut them all off!
Okay, so I don't know what I was saying. Oh, right. If you get a chance to see the commentary with Kirshner for Empire Strikes Back, it's excellent because you find out kind of what's going on there. Because he's such a good director, and he takes the characters and makes them so real. Like the whole thing, I remember he's talking about how when the door's closing in Hoth, and he knows Han and Luke are out there, and R2 just goes, how important that was, you know, and how CD3PO and everybody was kind of sad. And he also talks about how he and Lucas had a lot of disagreements. And Lucas was just like, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
But I think we can all agree now that Lucas has had his chance. Kirshner was doing it right.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, I think also more importantly than just who was directing, it's also who wrote the screenplay.
Yes.
It wasn't
Lawrence
actually, you know,
and
who
there, Lawrence Kansas. Yeah, and he is on board helping with episode 7.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Very cool.
With Michael Ard.
Because really, I think that's one of the pitfalls of Lucas is whatever talents he has. I can relate to him in a lot of ways. He
Writing is not his
forte.
Well, he had to start as an editor, really, and that's part of why the special effects are so dynamic, because he had that idea of timing and how to get everything together. And then he also had like maybe a minor in sound effects, because he knew that sound's very important. But then when it comes to things like writing dialogue, he's very clumsy with it.
Whoopee!
And he knows he has very little subtlety. And another thing is that he has every character wear their heart on their sleeve. Yeah. Because he just, I'm feeling blue right now, and so what does he do? He has a character say, "I don't feel good." And
like
Star Wars so was literal.
Star Wars: New Hope was so simple that it was kind of okay for that. But as you start to make this epic movie, this epic world, this epic universe, and then you've got these characters who are so one-dimensional, and
it becomes bigger than what it is. I mean,
well,
bigger than yourself, and like like Boba Fett. Boba Fett was just a throw-in character.
Yeah.
But I knew after Empire, somehow, whether it be magazines or word of mouth, there was this huge story that Boba Fett killed Wookies, and that's what those had the scalps, the braids on his head, and he became this character that's awesome.
Well, there was and
there was really no background.
So you know what it was that
grabs you.
Started that? It was actually the Star Wars Christmas special.
Well, yeah,
because they had the Boba Fett animation.
Yeah, that was before Empire, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but no,
that's part of how it got.
But I see what Paul's talking.
Nobody watched that.
I see what Paul's talking about because I
no one remembered it.
I wasn't old enough to be a huge fan during the movies. Just I was kind of a kid fan. I had the toys and everything. But I had a cousin who was a few years older than me, and he was a huge fan. He had your wallpaper on his what that you've got in the room. On his room, and his he had the bedspread. He had everything.
Dad put that wallpaper up when my brother and I were little kids.
Awesome.
It's cool wallpaper.
I wanted those sheets and.
Well, I had the sheets too. Actually,
my mom
I don't have
them
them anymore.
But the thing is that because of him, I knew after Empire, because he talked about it all the time. I knew that Vader had gotten all burned up in some lava someplace. Everybody knew that because somehow Lucas leaked it out. This is before the books. This is before anything. It's like, because I was a member of also Bantha Tracks, which was the newsletter at the time, and I got stuff from that too. And it was there was this whole world was.
Think about it too. In the first movie, Alec Guinness, who's Obi-Wan.
Uh-huh.
He mentions the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So then there's all this backstory that you don't know about, and then it's surprisingly depressing once you finally see it.
Yeah, what
no
actually
kidding.
happens.
Well, the thing is that what we're saying about Lucas is that Lucas is very good with the broad spectrum. He's a world creator.
Yeah.
He creates characters, he creates worlds. That's awesome. But when you get into the specificness of, story and character, he just drops the ball.
And to his credit, a fantastic imagination.
Yes, exactly, because he's good with the broad. And the thing is, if he's good with the broad.
Well, he did get married like a couple months ago.
Did you know?
Wow.
You know that Star Wars thing? Yeah, that's me.
It's the big chin flap that turns out.
Oh.
He became Jabba.
Yeah, he did
He's
for
like,
a while there.
Well, what's interesting is I was listening to an interview with Mark Hamill, and he was stating that, back in the day when they were filming in Tunisia and stuff, in the first one, that he was asking George about the whole story. How's everything going to go? What's going to happen here? What's going to that? And he mentions, well, it's just like actually like an 11-part story he actually originally thought of. And he's like, maybe like 30 years from now, so like in 2011 you'll be playing Luke again and stuff. And now it's 2013, 14, 15, and you might be playing Luke again. So it is kind of like been there.
Yeah, well, and that's to Lucas.
But it takes a lot of your life.
Well, wasn't he in Tech War? Or he was in something.
Oh, Mark Hamill?
Maybe
That was
that's Shatner's
that was Shatner's thing. He was
in some movie in the mid-90s that was kind of...
What was that
don't
game?
really care.
That game with the...
he was in Wing Commander.
Wing Commander,
that's right.
Games, yeah.
But to Lucas's credit, that's once again what he does good. He had this whole epic in his head, and that's why one of the reasons why it worked out so well, I think, is because he could mention the Clone Wars, and he can mention these little bits and pieces of things that belong there. And Empire, you really got into the Sith and the Emperor, or not got into it, but got little
the
bits
girl
and pieces
Emperor at first.
The what?
The girl Emperor.
But they didn't mention an Empire.
No, but when you see the Emperor in the original on the hologram, that's a woman.
What?
Playing a guy.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Yeah. But it's still
interesting.
Palpatine.
No, it's still Palpatine.
I was like,
yeah, no, it's still.
But and
wait, we were going to talk about gender benders. Oh, that was genre benders.
Speaking of the relationship of C-3PO and R2-D2.
No.
Okay, is wait, first of all,
who's on top?
Do robots have the parts to be male or female?
Data does, but that's
RC does.
Get them.
RC.
So wait. So who's the catcher and who's the pitcher with R2 and C-3PO?
Well, R2-D2 is that thing that pops out.
So he's
going to talk to everybody.
Yeah, he's the pitcher. That's
C-3PO.
I can't see C-3PO taking.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can't see C-3PO taking any.
Oh my God! What's the chances of you?
Oh, R2, what are you doing? Oh! Oh, turn it all on! Turn me on! Turn me all on!
It's your fault we went there, Daryl.
I'm sorry.
Okay, gender benders. Why did Luke and Leia kiss each other? Oh,
because they didn't know yet.
They didn't know, but she said in Return of the Jedi, somehow I've always known.
Hey, Booger,
what are you doing when you kiss me?
Can you let us know you're alive, Booger?
Well, then...
No, I can't.
Okay.
All right.
I just don't know. He's been quiet for so long. I'm just like, did you drop?
Okay.
No. It's just what we're talking about. Yeah. I'd be quiet too.
We got to bring up, since we're talking about Empire, what we were discussing off.
Well, bring up the picture that I saved.
Oh, right. Thank you. But actually, Paul, go ahead.
Oh, the thought that Joe and I were talking about was, okay, so Han, Leia, they all escape out of Hoth, right?
Oh yes, we have to talk about this.
And then they get attacked by the Star Destroyers. Their hyperdrive is down.
Okay, but before you get to that, keep in mind that Luke becomes like what, 3/4 a Jedi in this time? How long is his training? And I've tried to do a little research on this because you don't get a feel of time in there, but you figure it's long enough. But it's like two storylines. It seems like Luke's been there maybe a year or two or something, and Han and Leia, it's been maybe a couple weeks.
It's like he took the P90X of Jedi training.
I know.
How long did they stay inside the belly of that?
Well, that's exactly it. You've got to kind of figure
How long
did
they stay in the same clothes? How long did Leia stay in that thing with her hair like that?
I know.
She's got to be a little...
Well, did you notice
down there?
when Lando ends up having the shirt, because he stole the shirt at the end of Empire, it's kind of more yellowish.
That's true, yeah. Hey, Luke, we'll meet you on a Tatooine,
Look at me, I'm so smooth, I stole, what'd you say?
I stole a ship, stole his clothes, and I'm going to get his woman.
Yeah.
What have we here?
Hey, welcome to the cool side of the pillow.
But yeah, I think just, story-wise, you kind of just throw that off to the side and be like, okay, they just went through
yeah,
space
that's
and
true.
made it the best spin.
But it keeps bothering.
Reality-wise.
But the thing is with Star Wars has so much detail to it in the expanded universe now. I've tried to look it up, and people have some theories, but you'd think there'd be a timeline for it somewhere, and I haven't been able to find anything.
That's a big thing with Star Wars is with the fans and stuff. Unlike Star Trek, where Star Wars, everything really needs... People want it in a timeline. Like when a book comes out, everything needs to fit. Where it's like... all these canons and stuff may not really go together. I don't think the books and the movies go necessarily together. Where in Star Trek, it's like you can just throw anything out there, and it's like it's cool.
It was kind of interesting following, because I know it's not strictly canon, but when Marvel was publishing the comic book, it was interesting that they would have a series of books, maybe 3 or 4 for each movie when it came out, and then in between they had all these side stories that were independent. So it's kind of an interesting mix of the real canon and then this other stuff they added in between. Made it kind of confusing about whether or not it was supposed to be official.
Are you talking like that one book, A Splinter in the Mind's Eye?
And stuff, yeah.
Oh, that's not
the one on...
That's the one between the movies.
Books.
That's between the movies, right?
New Hope and
Empire.
Yeah. That was with the comics.
And then we can't forget the Saturday morning cartoon, Droids and Ewoks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know. You used to watch that.
That's totally canon, right?
That is, because... it was R2-D2.
Yeah, but no. Well, okay. At the end of 3, they get on the ship, and then in 4, they get off the ship.
They're on the ship. Yeah.
So when does Droids happen?
Droids would be probably in between 3 and 4.
So then what? They look like they weren't on the ship all the time. I guess they weren't on the ship all the time.
What about
they get
video
thrown
games
around.
too? There's Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, and the holiday special.
Yeah.
As Daryl mentioned, because there's that awesome Wookiee porno scene.
Remember the little kid who sounds like Cartman?
Yeah, I actually watch that every year while I put the tree up at Christmas time.
I got a copy somewhere. Hey, Chewie, you mean you guys wear clothes? You've been naked all this time? Yeah. Booger sent us a picture, which we'll put up.
By the way, when we get to revisionist history, it's like Lucas pretty much said, drop that, never republish it, never do anything with it.
Oh, he's out there burning every bootleg thing. It never. Well, you know what? Yeah. You got to remember too. Lucas didn't make that. If I understand, it's like CBS or what. There was something in the contract with CBS.
It was before Lucas had the power
or something. It's like
seriously,
they
like he didn't have to write off his okay on it or something.
No,
I mean, look at how he cornered Kenner and everything to get control of the action figures and all that.
Yeah.
So it's I have a hard time believing that he had no say or override on what they did.
Well, you know what?
With the figures, he gave up rights to points or whatever for the movies.
Yeah, I think that would probably that's a good
to keep the merchandise.
Right.
He went with merchandise, which was a smart move.
So you're
but
saying
he gave up
kind of
some
released
power.
control of the media aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, there's a picture we're going to put on the show notes of them doing the beginning credits, and it's funny if you look at it because for those of you who don't have a computer, there we go. Mm-hmm. The beginning credits, we think
nice.
CGI. And it's like they've got them on this board and they're using a camera. It's like, oh, that's right. They didn't have CGI back then.
That's pretty cool.
The camera's actually going across the letters, which are on a light-up board.
And one of the things that revolutionized the effects in the movie is that they used computer-controlled camera systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that meant they could do multiple passes with the models and everything else, because that's part of what gives it that feel. When traditionally before that, when miniatures were done, with the exception of, say, 2001: A Space Odyssey, that had fantastic effects for its time. But usually it was just like a single static model, and if you needed something to light up on it, you would shoot it all in one pass. Mm-hmm. But with this technique, because the motion of the cameras could be computer controlled, you could make the same pass over and over again. So you would light the model really well against a blue backdrop, so you could key it out, and make a pass with it. Then you darken the set and put all the LED lights in there, and you do another pass, so you get a pass that has just the lights on there, etc., so forth. And then you can add extra elements by doing the same camera motion, but now you have maybe start with a Star Destroyer up in the corner of the screen, then you have a TIE Fighter over here and have it moving through the scene, and you keep doing the same camera passes. So that way everything looks like one live camera with all these various
put it all together.
moving.
Well, and you can really tell they got better at it because before they redid the special edition of Star Wars, the Death Star scene was cool because of what was going on, the effects and everything, but it wasn't very clear what was happening. But if you watch the special edition after that, I remember seeing it going, oh, I get it. There's something going on here. There's these three up here. There's these three over here. They're going down. The main guys got put out, and this guy was here. It makes sense three-dimensionally. But by the time you get to Empire, when they're doing the asteroids thing, you get it. Like, they're flying through the asteroids, you're like, oh, he just went that way, and the bombers came after him.
And really, the final space scenes in Jedi are spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
Done. They're amazing to watch even today. In fact, there's, this is me being a little old school again, but I have a real appreciation for movies that have practical effects, whether it be models or, look at some movies like Poltergeist. Like, I haven't seen CG yet that matches.
That is pretty good, yeah.
Because there's something about it being real. And the CG just hasn't quite reached that.
Yeah, the digital age we're in right now doesn't... being 100% digital, which you see in the prequels, it doesn't have that texture to it.
Yeah.
It'll get there, but you're right. That's a good point.
And, by the same token, sometimes they fall flat because sometimes it's really obvious to see the matting on physical effects and things like that. But so it's a give and take, but every now and then I think it's just fascinating. Like when we watched Brainstorm, some of the effects in that were really cool, especially knowing they were all opticals. There were hardly any computerized effects in that.
The big reveal in Empire, which wasn't a big reveal for the three of us probably, but Kale, was probably for you. Luke, I am your father. What was that like?
Wait, it's no.
Sorry.
Why wasn't the...
Sorry, you're right.
It was everywhere, right?
Well, I think we were too young to get the concept of it. I mean, as my memory is Return of the Jedi. By that point, I was at the point where I was understanding the concept of the story. Yeah. But up to, the idea, I grew up with my first movie kind of being Empire. Yeah. For me, so Darth Vader was always his father. But for Kale, that was a revelation.
And so you didn't watch it on video before the original Star Wars on video before?
No, I think I watched Empire most of the time because I think what happened.
By the time we had a VCR and all, it was right. I think Jedi was out.
Well, no, the whole thing was my dad got bootlegs, and I don't remember him having a bootleg of Star Wars right away. He had a bootleg of Empire because it had just been recently released.
Well,
interesting.
In the neighborhood, everybody was arguing back and forth. To me, I just accepted it and went, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. He's his father.
But was it shocking?
Yeah, of course it was. Everybody argued back and forth in the neighborhood all the time for...
Because I remember...
Quiz for Doug. Okay, you first.
Well, I was going to say, I remember going to see Return of the Jedi, that argument was going on, and I have memory of it, and going... that was going to be the big question. By that time, I was old enough to say, "Oh, is it really his father, or is he lying?" Because, like you said, that's the argument.
Right.
But I never got surprised by it. I never got the shock.
Quiz for everyone: who here thinks that was a writing retrofit by Lucas, and one of many others, perhaps?
No, it was on the set. It was a secret, and actually, on the set, he said Obi-Wan killed your father. So only Hamill and Lucas knew that it was going to be Darth Vader. So when he does that reaction, he was told. When they filmed it, he was told Obi-Wan killed your father, and that's when he freaks out and goes no. But he knew that it was actually going to be Darth Vader.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't until
nobody until the movie came out. It wasn't until the movie came out that
everyone knew. What about Princess Leia being his sister then?
Well, hold on.
That might have been later.
Hold on. We know that Darth Vader. It was the original plan
what about Anakin building 3PO?
Okay, hold on a second. I got some trivia here.
Okay, got it.
We know it. He already had because Darth Vader means dark father in like Dutch.
Right. Yeah.
So we know he originally was looking for that.
Or dark water, depending what language.
Oh, okay. His father makes more sense. Why would he be dark water? I'm dark, scary water.
Waters that you
what is he, diarrhea?
Luke,
I am diarrhea.
Hey, he's black and shiny, though.
True. That means he's
what kind of diarrhea you having, man?
I know, dude. Yeah, too much fighting.
Oh my god, I pooped a Vader. Okay, so let's...
It's not even an hour yet.
Also...
What happened?
Yeah.
In Empire, there's a little script change here that I know about is when
keep on rolling.
Han tells Leia, I know. That wasn't in the script. I believe he says, I love you too, or I love like that.
Your jokes are really asinine.
Oh, God.
Wait, was that a Star Trek character, Ass of Nine?
Oh, I saw that version of Star Trek.
She was hot.
Yeah.
All right, so you were saying, Paul, before they were singing.
She's a Borg.
So the original script was something like, Leia says, I love you, and Han's like, I love you too, and this and that. It just, Kirshner
Han says, I know.
No, the original.
Oh, the original.
So they're going through that and filming it. And
Shut up, Daryl. Let him speak.
Kirshner and Ford are saying this isn't working. I don't feel it like that. And Kirshner says, just says whatever comes to your mind. And that's when he said, I know.
Oh,
and
nice.
Said, that's it. That's what Han would say.
That's nice. Yeah. Awesome.
That was feeling the character right there.
So, for me, by the time Return of the
bitch right after.
I'm sorry, I should have known better than to try to correct Paul.
Sorry,
that's all right.
I do have the memory that from Scholastic Books, I ordered the Return of the Jedi Kid book, and I have this memory going, I'm not going to read this, because already at that age, I was like, I don't want to know what's going to happen. Because I had already become a Star Wars fan in between the two movies. And so I was looking forward to the movie, and my mom was like, I'm going to read it because I don't care what the ending is. I was like, I can't see it. I don't want to know until the movie comes out. So I was like, she's like, I know. I'm like, I don't want to see it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
You're teasing me.
But I did, but because I was a fan, I did get Bantha tracks, and I knew it was, because when I heard about it, the Revenge of the Jedi, that sounds so cool, ooh.
Bantha tracks?
And then they changed it to Return of the Jedi. Bantha tracks was the newsletter.
That's when you have Darth Vader.
Oh, that's what Darth Vader has when he's sick. Oh, man, I love some Bantha tracks.
Okay, Daryl, quit with the crappy jokes.
No, Daryl, you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen out there, what you need to know about Daryl is
Daryl...
Daryl...
need to explain, they know already.
No. Daryl either does crappy jokes or awesome jokes, and since we love his awesome jokes, we let him do the crappy jokes. It's perfectly fine.
Well, crap is good.
Yeah, especially when it's on your underwear and becomes Bantha tracks. Yeah. So, anyway, I was looking forward to Return to Jedi. When I saw it, I liked it, but I think I had watched Empire so much over and over again, I wasn't as excited after. It was like, oh, it's all right.
Well, Jedi's kind of like my my sentimental favorite, because that's the one that I remember going to the theater.
Yeah,
I remember being
too.
At the end of second grade. That would have been 83. My grandma coming to pick me up and going up to the mall to go see it. We were late, so I walked in during the Jabba the Hutt scene, so I didn't even see the beginning.
Oh,
right?
Suck!
And I remember seeing that, and then I vividly remember all the scenes and stuff. So it's kind of like, and I don't want to say it's the best one, but it's like
I got what you're saying.
It's like that was the one I grew up on.
I think it was. It had a lot of appeal because it was bigger and it was more varied than the other movies.
It was cleaner too.
Yeah, my memory of
everything was kind of shiny.
My memory of being in the theater was, I don't know, probably because I actively had to say something at this part, and that's why I remember it. Is when they show the Jabba the Hutt from the outside, and we know about it now because of the widescreen. There's that little, monster thing. It goes
eating the frog,
and it eats the frog. It eats something or whatever.
Rat or whatever.
Well, it must have been really noticeable in the theater because everyone around me was like, oh, they kind of laughed and thought it was cool, and I was like, I didn't see it. And I was like, what happened? And they were trying to explain it to me, but the movie was going on. So, and then of course on the video, I never saw it because I was like, why did everyone laugh at that point? Because it was cut out because it wasn't widescreen.
I think that's another thing that was interesting about the movie too. You mentioned the beginning with Jabba and all that. Like, there's this springing Han from the from Bantha's den and all that, and it seemed like it started out with a mini movie. And then it moved on to a major plot, and then there were two. It
kind of ended with Jabba the Hutt blowing up, and then
Jabba the Hutt blew up.
Well, his
hut.
Right.
Yeah, the end. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was kind of like a mini movie.
Yeah, so in a way, it struck me as being pretty cool that it's like there was already kind of a conclusion early on, but then there's more.
You got to keep going. Yeah, that is actually a good point, because it's interesting how it kind of splits up there, and then you end up with Luke going back. It slows down. Luke goes back to Yoda, but you find out the secret. And I remember trying to listen.
Locations.
I remember trying to. Oh yeah, good point.
Tatooine, then.
I remember trying to listen to Yoda, and I couldn't understand half of what he said at the time, and I don't remember why. And that was like the big part where he says, "Your father, he is."
Yeah.
Luke. And I was like, "What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?" Luckily, he goes to Ben and says, "Yoda just said there was another." Oh, okay, that's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when Luke's like, "Dude, man, listen to me, fool."
Luke.
You old little ghost.
Luke, feed my fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luke. I have some money under my
I spit in the soup.
Luke.
I farted.
Sorry about that. So, Return of the Jedi then. Oh, and then we see the only other woman in the galaxy, which is the commander.
Mon Mothma?
Yeah, Mon Mothma. She's the only... Where is there another woman except for like walking around or something in Star Wars that has a character.
Well, that reminds me, if you look at the Rebels
dancing lady in Jabba.
Oh yeah, Ula. Oh, and the big lady.
Yeah.
And there is in the deleted scenes. There's an old lady.
He's gonna dance for every one of these characters.
So. But if you notice in the Empire, everybody is British and white and a guy. Where everyone in the
British it's like a skeptics convention.
Everyone in the Rebels,
they need our glasses.
It's kind of like
you got black guys, you got Mexicans, you got short little snouty guys.
I mean, Lando's like hitting on everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, dude,
you know what? That's the thing. Like Leia comes in, Lando hasn't seen a woman in a century.
I know. That's right. There's nobody else there.
Where are the bitches?
and like they do, I think this was in Family Guy or whatever. I really want to know what happens when Vader's at the table and they've got dinner all set out, and and then the doors close. It's like, what happens next? Do they sit down and eat?
Oh, excuse me, could you pass the salt?
That was one messed up Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah.
Setting up for a Thanksgiving special.
How's the weather?
And then, of course, Thanksgiving special. That scene is the Thanksgiving special.
Dad, can I have some more candied yams?
No, you don't know I'm your father yet. Shut up.
I'm crushing your head.
I crush your head. I crush you. It would be wonderful if you would join us. Okay.
So Vader, I was kind of wondering it. Your daughter and I were talking, and just kind of wanted to know if perhaps it would be okay if without a dowry or anything, if I might be able to just we're just kind of asking about if I could have her hand in marriage, that kind of thing, and just
So anyway, about the jokes. That's what.
Do you have your okay?
All right. So anyway, moving on. And then there's the torture scene, which the little thing where. They didn't even ask me any questions.
Yeah.
Hold me.
Well, what I was thinking too is that I was wondering if that was they were doing that to Han to create the emotion so Luke would feel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I understand that, but I was wanting to make some yelling noises and then say "hold me." So
can we start over and choose a different topic?
Let's move on to the prequels.
Well, no, before we get into the prequels,
wait, Return of the Jedi.
We need Return of the Jedi.
We were there already.
Oh yeah,
Return of the Jedi.
What we talked about was Tatooine.
I went back to Empire.
What about Chewbacca swinging on the rope? Who was he swinging off of?
That's a good point. He went.
And it took me years to realize that was Han inside the AT-ST. Tell him to open the thing until they made the figure.
He looked good, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He totally looked like one of the guys. Yeah. Fooled us. But then what about the Ewoks getting like that whole offensive ready in like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
The
Ewoks. That's what I want to talk about. The Ewoks are evil.
Why?
Because they freaking eat people.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
They were going to eat Han, Luke was going to be their dinner.
And they have skulls.
They're so cute.
They've got the Jedi heads. Or not the Jedi, the Stormtroopers.
They were going to slow cook them.
And they're playing the drums.
They flipping eat people.
Dude, they're cannibals. Well, no, wait, they're not cannibals.
No, they eat animals.
They eat people.
So, yeah, man, those guys are vicious.
Soylent Green, there's people.
No, it's clones, actually.
So, and Return of the Jedi, go ahead, Booger.
No, I was just going to tell Paul, you might want to take a look. I threw in a picture on Trello for you to enjoy.
Is it with the ships? Oh, it's Lando, Pope Lando, nice.
No. Lando is Pope, all right.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Hey, that's a Pope I could get into.
That's a Pope I could get behind.
That'd be cool. Instead of wine, it'd be Colt 45.
Because he's so smooth, I'd get behind him.
Lent would be Colt 45 and cornbread.
Going back to sound, Lucas always said that in the lightsaber battles he didn't want any music because the lightsabers made their own music. Yet I think it was a great touch to put music in for Return of the Jedi. That chorus that just goes in the background is so on cue. It just
It really made everything about the score in those movies just elevated everything to a whole epic level.
I never knew why Luke became a Jedi when he didn't attack Darth Vader until kind of the rest of the movies. They did explain it better that he was able to not give into the dark side. I never got that feeling until Anakin went changed to the dark side so easy, which is my major problem with 3. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I understand now. He was getting mad, and then he controlled it.
Well, he was such a mama's boy.
Yeah.
And, once something happened to his mom, it was...
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. But for Luke, he was getting mad. Everything was against him. It was the end, and he controlled it, and he stopped. That's why he became a Jedi.
Well, he really the Emperor was shaping him just like he did his dad.
Yeah,
he's using him.
Yeah, so that was a good way of looking at it. Okay, so let's move to the prequels. You guys ready?
Yeah, I got a transition for that.
Yeah.
The Emperor's theme in Return of the Jedi, is the end theme to Phantom Menace, but sped up in a happy tone.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
It goes
oh, wow. That's cool.
What did they do with the Ewok? Chomp, chomp.
Chomp, chomp. He goes, chomp, chomp. Boom, got him. And no, what's up, man? Totally got that.
And prequel.
As much as I like, the music overall in the whole movies, I always disliked that one. It was just too...
Yub Nub?
Yeah.
That's too...
Well, didn't they change it in the special edition? Yeah.
To something a little more
sounding. I mean, even though it's the happy...
Dude, they were barbecuing.
They were barbecuing stormtroopers.
Dude, what do you mean, like Will Smith Summertime?
Do you think Wicked came up to Han and was like had a leg? and Han's like, "No, I'm good, really."
Nice.
All right, so
well, if they cooked up Padme, they'd want a breast.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Okay, now you also have to figure, when we start talking about the prequels there's always the very two topics that are the most heated. There was Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, and of course the ever infamous Jar Jar. Go ahead and go.
Okay, what's Liam Neeson?
There's nothing wrong with Jar Jar.
Okay, we'll get to Jar Jar in a second. Paul's got some Jar Jar to talk about. What's wrong, Booger? What's wrong with Liam Neeson? I haven't heard that one.
No, I didn't say there's anything wrong. I just said that seems to be one of the most heated topics with the Jar Jar and he as Qui-Gon, because so many people didn't seem to think that he. Now, not myself, but a lot of other people didn't seem to think that he fit as a Jedi.
I think they did.
I did a good job, awesome. Especially
who are these people? Kill them.
When he was battling Darth Maul,
they're not.
And
they do not
the
exist in our
shield thing
universe.
closes, and Darth Maul's all pissed off, like whatever. What does Qui-Gon do? He kneels down and meditates.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, my only gripe with him and Ewan McGregor is that it just seemed like such a waste of talent, because they, from the very beginning, they're just having these very dull, emotionless conversations about what's going on.
Well, that's the whole. The problem with episode 1 is focuses too much on the story of a little kid.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like it should have started with him more like a teenager.
My God. The dialogue in that was so bad.
It is not Jar Jar Binks that ruined episode 1. It is Anakin Skywalker.
I couldn't understand Jar Jar half the time anyway.
Okay, here's the thing with Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, go Paul.
He needs to be there. And if you listen to Jar Jar Binks, and you listen to what he says at the beginning, all he's doing is he's all Misa walking through the forest on a little munchie, and then boom, this Jedi comes.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, something like that. Dude, he's just walking through the swamp forest, eating a snack, like has a little Snickers bar, and then boom, his whole world gets thrown upside down.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Well, I always saw that Jar Jar basically played the role that 3PO played in the other three.
They were trying for comic relief, but I think it just...
There's an article I read.
He was too silly.
There was an article I read.
I couldn't understand him. I didn't know what he said.
Part of what made the whole movie...
Well, dude, he's from Jamaica.
But from episode 1... Awesome pod races. The pod races was awesome.
Hey, put a frown upside down. Put a smile on the face.
The fight with Darth Maul, because that was
awesome.
Okay, this is what I think. I think that at some point I'm going to re-edit episode 1 and 2 together into one good movie or something like that.
And it'll be 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, I disagree. I think there's a lot of good. I think there's a lot of good in there. You've got to take Jar Jar out. I think, though. I'm sorry.
But Jar Jar, if you, I was reading an article on Den the Geek. It's very similar to Shakespeare.
What?
One of the Shakespeare plays where there's a clown. I forget the.
Wait, yes, King Lear.
Is it King Lear?
There's a jester.
The whole beginning of it is with the clown, and it's just the goofy and stuff. So it's very Shakespearean.
Well, the thing that he did in Star Wars, which you didn't talk about, was Star Wars started out as from the point of view of R2 and C-3PO.
It was too much Jar Jar.
Until it kind of went to Luke. Actually, a lot of the movie was that, but Jar Jar didn't seem to be I don't know.
Jar Jar was an attempt to appeal to the kids.
Yeah,
and so was Anakin, and Anakin didn't work out. And Jar Jar was just a goofball.
Lucas turned the whole franchise into a cartoon at that point.
But
I
think it ended my disbelief in just enjoying.
Okay, here's the thing. Part of the problem is that he missed like the generation that grew up on Star Wars a little bit. Like Jedi was timed at a time where it could be somewhat cartoony, but we were all young enough to enjoy it still. But then,
and at the same time, it was also a religion until he decided to throw midichlorians into it as well.
Yeah,
which ruined it for a lot of people.
Yeah. I was okay with that.
That was just some attempt to rationalize everything.
Well,
but remember at the prequels, we grew up, us. I mean, this is our OT generation, the original trilogy, with what 15 years of speculation of what's going to happen and expectations, and we had stories in our head and that we read of what was going to happen, and then it comes out, and of these 3 movies we already know what happens. We know the ending,
but we didn't think it was going to be like geared toward 9-year-olds.
But no, it's not just that.
We thought the franchise would grow up with us.
Honestly, it had good, in my opinion, it had a lot of good moments in it. I think it was put together very poorly. I think that if you cut out a lot of stuff and you put it together, and you'd have to film some more stuff too. But I think there's a lot of good points. The whole beginning with
Can we get into your garage for that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. All right.
The whole beginning with them on the ship, and then coming down, and then going and rescuing Padme. That could all happen in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always
the pod races were awesome
on how to watch Star Wars and like the order. And I always told people, okay, watch A New Hope, then Empire. Then kind of read like on Wikipedia about episode 1, watch 2 and 3, and then watch Jedi.
That's interesting.
So you kind of just skip episode 1.
Because
you can't sum that.
So it should be kind of like Luke is like sitting there going, when they're backing out at the end of Empire, and then he kind of goes, "Hey, let's look up what happened in the past."
Yeah. Well, it's like I am your father. It's like, how could that happen?
Yeah.
And then you see what happened.
And you see what happened. Okay.
So it's a flashback.
Yeah, flashback.
So you have to do the little.
But it's not a Luke flashback because Luke's not.
No, it's not a Luke flashback. No, it's just a way to watch, to order to watch it.
In order to watch it.
But yeah, episode 1.
Actually, you kind of think about it. They did that very same thing in Lord of the Rings, and as the 3rd movie began, they flashed back to how Smeagol became Gollum. I like that thinking. I like that idea.
That's kind of what I was saying. If we could re-edit episode 2 and put in the good parts of episode 1 as flashbacks, maybe that would kind of work.
Yeah, you could totally just do like last week on Star Wars.
But no, as actual flashbacks, and kind of like they did with Smeagol, I think that would work actually pretty well.
So in other words, you throw in the origin story near about like 2/3 of the way through the redemption story of Anakin Skywalker.
That would work.
Yeah, I think that would work.
And you still keep the this is totally if you've never seen Star Wars before, but you keep the "No, I'm your father," Luke's father as a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
The only thing you wouldn't get is you already know that Leia is his sister, but that's like whatever.
Also in the movie, because I think we can agree that the fight with Darth Maul was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think didn't we?
Are you kidding me?
I liked it a lot.
Oh, come on. Darth Maul was one of the lamest villains. He's sitting there over this trench. The young Obi-Wan is clinging for his life. And what is he doing? He's just whacking at this cliff face with this stupid lightsaber instead of doing something with the damn force to kill him.
He was
just staring at him going, come on up, come at me, bro, come at me, bro. It was the worst damn fight.
He was playing with him.
Yeah.
Well, you got to admit that he was pretty darn cool when he's fending off 2 Jedi with 1 lightsaber that's got 2 ends on it.
That was the only redeeming factor that guy had was his dual lightsaber. Everyone in the audience watching this movie was like, "Oh, look, a dual lightsaber! Oh, what the flippin'?"
I disagree. Darth Maul was awesome.
I agree with you though that it takes a turn downhill once they get to those little light gate things that start separating.
Yeah, I don't really know what that is.
And shouldn't they have like a danger sign up or something saying "Don't come in here"?
They should have the little electrocution guy. High voltage.
Well, but I have to agree with Joey. I like Darth Maul.
I think Darth Maul is an awesome character, and he's got horns. Yeah. Lots of them.
Yeah, and he has a big face tattoo.
Yes, it's a tattoo.
Awesome. What characterization was there?
And Booger, he comes back afterwards without his legs.
Yes.
I mean,
now that's cool too.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. He's in the Clone
Wars. He survived.
Cartoon animated.
There's actually
I had a prediction after episode 1 came out. I thought he was coming back.
Because the lightsaber just kind of cauterized, and he's got mechanical legs now. So but no, that was actually based on a comic that came out before the Clone Wars, which was
and the way they explained it, his return is he Siths don't go to the next realm.
All Siths go to heaven.
All Sith go to absolutely. They're with the dogs.
So no Sith go to heaven.
Oh, that's right.
The whole thing with the Sith is they want their absolute. It's like when they're gone and stuff. So they will cling on to every ounce of life to stay alive. So his hatred for Obi-Wan, his hatred of what just happened, is what kept him alive
until he gets some legs.
Is that what you're saying, Joey?
And then he goes back to Dathomir and
Voldemort is Darth Maul. That's where we were going. Didn't you see that?
Darth Maul is the Toad.
Didn't see it.
Okay, well, I think we can move off episode 1. Let's go to episode 2. I was hoping more. I got more from it personally. But by the way, did we all go see episode 1 together? I think all 4 of us were there. At 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember coming out going,
It was me, yeah.
You know when I first heard that...
Wait, you're talking about episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when I first heard that episode 1 might be not so good was when someone read the back of the CD that came out for the music. It kind of tells the story, and they were like, "This doesn't look too good."
I know. I looked at the coloring book at Kmart, and I already knew Qui-Gon died.
Trying to, keep as uninformed as possible about what was going to happen, and then that first scroll happens, and they're talking about like taxation and
that's the other
having
thing.
a space.
Nobody understands
and all this stuff.
It's too much politics.
Okay, and then one single Naboo spaceship flies through the screen, and you're going, "This is the Star Wars we waited for."
Okay,
oh my gosh.
This is what I still remember how I thought when I first. And what do you first see? What are the first characters you see? These rubbery fish people that don't look cool. And they're hello, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's not like even Admiral Akbar looked kind of cool.
Gunray.
But yeah, Newt Gunray, yeah. And the lips weren't moving right. It was horrible. Yeah. And that's the first image you get of the new Star Wars. I was like, I remember thinking, rubbery fish people? This sucks. What the hell is this?
Right.
Those are called the Neomodians.
Okay, but episode 2, I liked there were a lot of good things in it with Anakin starting to become evil. I love the whole, where you start to see Jedi power. That was what was awesome in episode 2. You start to see, because you don't see it in the last 3. You get to see someone who knows how to use Jedi power, and it's like when they're chasing the guy, and he goes through the window, and they're in the thing, and then that was awesome. That was very cool. And then when Obi-Wan fights Jango Fett was very cool.
I really like the Obi-Wan arc in that movie because he's kind of like the detective.
He's
out there. It's a whole detective Obi-Wan. I love him going to the clone planet.
That was probably the best part.
And they're like, we haven't been here since Master Sifo-Dyas or whatever. He's like, what was he doing again?
If I might compare it to Jedi, where I think Jedi jumped around from planet to planet the right amount, Attack of the Clones just jumped around way too much.
Well, and all
of a sudden we're here and
the love story was crap.
When he's talking about sand and
that was Lucas's fault. He wanted to make it a love story. It's just like, come on. I know you want to make him in love, but you're just
he needed to hand over that script to someone else and have them.
Well, Han and Leia fell in love.
I know, but Han and Leia fell in love the right. That's the whole thing. Han and Leia didn't have to do that.
Sand's so rough and you're so sweet. You're so soft.
Baby. I felt. Jesus.
Sorry.
I think that's lust, not love.
I felt Han and Leia were in love. I did not feel that Anakin and Padme were in love.
And again, it was the very literal dialogue.
She's the ice.
And he was such a dork. Oh, and I love you. And I can't stop thinking about you. Oh my God. Oh, you can do whatever you want. The hell?
Use a Jedi mind trip to make me
look at. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So so episode 2 was good, and I agree, Obi-Wan's thing, but it was also too complicated. When Obi-Wan's stuck up there, and Count Dooku was talking to him, I literally was going.
There's another winning name.
I was going.
Dooku.
Yeah.
I was going.
I think Mario is going to jump off of his head and scratch him.
But there's like all the names in there.
Yeah.
They're all like, Solo.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Chewbacca.
I think that's another thing that age doesn't help. Like, we grew up with all the original names, and we don't think that they're dorky.
Yeah,
think about it. Luke Skywalker.
I'm Skywalker. Yeah,
yeah. That we're used
Lando.
to. Lando. Chewbacca.
Right.
Chewbacca. That is the worst name. Yet we're like, hey, it's Chewie.
That's sacrilege. Don't say that.
But seriously, I think that it's not just the lens of age. I think that really names like Dooku.
I did think that was
Dooku and Rey. They're just wrong. They're not good. They're not good names.
Well, okay, and the thing is that when Dooku was there, and he started explaining like what was going on because he was doing misdirection. It was so complicated. It was like
happens.
But you know the
Dooku
Sith
happens. That's awesome. We need to make some shirts quick before this goes out. That's awesome. Paul, shirts go.
All right, let's go. You know,
shirts will be available from this podcast only $9.95
plus shipping.
Okay, yes.
We need a
with the Sith. If you listen to the way the Sith talk, they're telling Jedi what's going on. He's like, "Hey, Obi-Wan, what if I tell you that the Sith Lord is like running everything and whatnot?" And Obi-Wan's like, "Full of crap." He's like, "Okay."
I was confused by the whole thing, and it just made, I was trying to figure it out, and then I got out of the action of the whole.
So movies designed for a 9-year-old shouldn't be confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know
Lucas.
You know what another problem is? Lucas tried with the early ones tried to take out all the contractions. Did you guys notice that in the first one?
Oh, really?
They're taking not all of them.
That's the so-called high speed.
Right, and it sounds wrong.
That's a good point.
You do not know what you are doing today. You know,
right.
I cannot go with you. It's no, that doesn't sound good. It sounds fake and forced.
People speaking.
And I think that's part of why Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor just seemed like they were stunted in terms of what
there's
they
only
could
so
act.
much you can do with the script.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I mean,
and I gotta say though, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is like. He really looked like Obi-Wan.
I think he was
a great
choice.
like Obi-Wan.
Alec Guinness is a tremendous actor, and following in his footsteps.
He
totally
it's so
like young
believable.
Alec Guinness.
But
I saw a picture
feel
of
a disconnect between the two, though.
I
just don't feel like he's really Obi-Wan.
Oh, I feel like he is, but I didn't know how they were going to do it in episode 1. But by the time he got his beard, I was like,
that's
I'm
when he
feeling
had
it.
the beard. Yeah.
Oh, I felt it was him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. He started looking more the
in
part.
episode 1. I was like, why'd they pick this guy? He doesn't look anything like him.
And he's got the little pigtail thing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what's going on? But then episode 2 and by episode 3, I was like, that's Obi-Wan.
He did start,
and he's got the voice down. I think he did a pretty good job. Yeah. So episode 2 had some, of course, really good parts in it. If you get out of the love scene, take out pretty much
Homer Simpson.
What?
Homer Simpson's in at the end.
He is?
Yeah, when the clones come. Right at the end, and it's like the ships, they all like...
Oh, I have seen that.
Down,
yeah, that's right.
The ship comes in like that with the face. It's like kind of blurry, but it's Homer
Simpson. That's pretty cool. I gotta check that.
Wow.
Okay, so the attack with the Jedis... The attack with the Jedis in the arena were pretty cool. Okay, and the attack when everything came down, the war started, was pretty cool. But what was the best part? Yoda kicking freaking ass.
Of course.
Oh, my God.
You know what pissed me off is they used that as a trailer. In a movie, I saw that in front of another movie. That whole scene.
Really? Oh, really? I didn't. Yeah. I hadn't seen it. No, I hadn't seen it. But
I gotta say though that you think that the Jedi are played up as being so powerful that when they finally have this big battle, they didn't seem quite.
I wasn't impressed by the big battle as much as I was by just Yoda and Count Dooku going at it. That was awesome.
I did like Mace Windu, coming at Dooku, and he's like, "I don't think so."
Yeah,
that was like a little bit of Sam Jackson there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's a good point, Daryl. The arena thing was not... It was a lot of lightsabers flying around, but it wasn't that cool. It wasn't that...
Right.
They
didn't focus on all
You expected the Jedis to take down like 100 droids at once or something like that, and they really didn't. So, yeah, I agree that wasn't...
Well, they were getting thousands at...
have a couple of them...
It's like they just opened the gate and...
Have a couple of them in the front deflecting all the lasers, then have another one, mind throw their lightsaber and, chop down half the droids. That would have been good.
I think what it was is Joey expected 5 of them to get together and form Captain Planet.
I didn't, but now I do.
And I'm the heart. Nice job, Anakin.
Didn't you hear earlier we're talking about Power Rangers, and the Black Ranger was black and the Yellow Ranger was Asian? What the hell is going on there?
Yep.
Okay, so...
edit's coming.
Pink Ranger was a girl.
Pink Ranger was a girl. Okay, so, by the way, we talked...
rampant racism of our podcast.
Yes, of course. Okay, so, moving on to...
Well, before we go to episode 3...
Yes.
I was going to say if... I know you guys haven't seen it and stuff, but if you watch the Clone Wars animated series, it really fills in.
I want to very badly, yeah.
And to me, when I think of Anakin and Obi-Wan... I don't think of Hayden Christensen and McGregor and stuff. It's the cartoon. It's those guys. It's those voices. It's Matt Lannard and
that's cool.
The other guy, because they're doing the adventures that we thought Anakin and Obi-Wan would be doing together, like brothers.
We only get a taste of that in episode 2 and a little bit in episode 3.
Yeah. So this really, if you watch it, you get a lot of how the politics are changing, how the Jedi are missing everything, and little bits of how Anakin. Not necessarily directly goes to the dark side because he's the first few seasons and stuff. He is a good guy. He is Kids see him. You ask a kid in the Anakin, and they go, good guy.
Right.
They go, Palpatine, good guy. They don't know that he's the Emperor.
Right. Very interesting. I do want to see, because I hear the movie's not that good.
Longer time period for him to go
Well,
back.
the movie, you can't...
let's get to that.
The movie, the Clone Wars movie, it's like, that's the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, right.
So
it's not a movie.
They made it a movie, and it's gotten better and better and better and stuff.
I'd like to make...
Podcast.
I'd like to make... that. I saw that too. I'd like to make a suggestion. Why don't we finish up with the movies for this podcast? And if we're feeling it. Okay, if we're feeling it. And then next week, why don't we talk about everything else that surrounds the movies? Would you guys be cool with that?
That'd be good.
Or we could just keep going today. I can go for a 2-hour podcast. I'm good.
I don't mind recording 2 hours, but I think a lot of people would mind listening to 2 hours.
True.
Or we can always hit it up another time and do part 2 like in the future.
Yeah, if not next week.
Yeah.
Part 2 sometime.
Okay, that's fine.
I do have to have a babysitter watching my son right now, so I do.
And I said 2 hours is fine. My wife just looked at me like, what?
Yeah.
Hey, is your babysitter a Blu-ray player looping episode 1?
No, actually, right now it's Netflix looping Johnny Test over and over again. Testicles, no. Not that version.
Who'd he tickle?
Though he does want to watch Walking Dead. I'm like, no.
Okay, let's get to... Yeah, good call. Let's get to episode 3 then, and we'll get to my... I loved it up to one part.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
I want to say... I'm sorry, I don't mean to like...
General?
No. This is your thing. Go.
But episode 3, that opening scene is such a boner scene. I mean, when it's like the drums going and the shit goes,
boners and good. Yeah,
boners is good.
Yeah, no, that seems awesome. I agree.
Shit flying through with
and
the
then
Star Wars
and
music.
you're following the ship, and then it goes up and around, and you see this whole war happening below. And there's Coruscant, and there's just that was awesome.
Yeah.
I
so
love
that really they set the tone and put us in a good mood.
Seeing
right
it in the theater was actually too much for me because seeing it since then, I can really appreciate what's going on in that scene because there's so much. But that whole scene with R2 and the two of them, it's hilarious. It's fun. Dude. It set the tone, and that was what was missing from I think all the movies. The whole thing where R2 is there, it's the whole thing with the robots, but at the same time they're using their Jedi powers. They're obviously worked together, and they've got this banter going on. They're confident.
That's the banter that
they're confident
the
Jedis
Han and Luke had and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really good the whole way through. And I think that's what's been missing in episode 1 and 2. There's a good feel there, and it didn't carry too much into the rest of the movie, though.
No, because they got split up.
You know? Yeah, I know, but just that feel is what the movies needed, and I think that's what the first ones had that really the others didn't. I was really looking when I saw it when I was watching. I'm like, this is going to be a good one because 1 and 2 were kind of this is going to be awesome.
Slows down, then it picks up, slows down.
Well, and then what? Okay, well, what happens after that? Then we get into politics.
I forgot to say on episode 2, Jar Jar Binks did start the Empire.
That's right, he did.
He was there. His job, his character was so dumb that his job was to be manipulated by Palpatine to feel bad about Naboo and all that stuff going on with Padme and say, okay, let's give him power. Now let's go to episode 3.
Episode 3 after the beginning, that first scene, which was kind of like the little thing from Return of the Jedi. They had this little thing where they had to get the Emperor and everything, which I think was really good.
This time it's CG overload.
I thought it was. Oh my God! Linda spilled something. Oh no, the guinea pig spilled something.
Guinea pig.
I thought it was.
The guinea pig likes
I thought it was awesome. I didn't think it was CG overload. I just liked the whole thing. It came together in my head really nicely. But Daryl, you thought CG overload?
Well, in many different spots of the prequel trilogy, I just thought that there were several sequences that were just like, let's see how much CG we can cram together onto the screen. And it's just kind of like a staple for movies these days, like the big budget movies.
The way it goes. It's cheaper, I guess, or
yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, you see the difference between episode 1 and then 2 and 3 because episode 1 still had actual props.
Yeah.
Or ep 2 and 3 was going total.
And, even
CG
the Tolkien movies have gone that
route.
Sometimes I think it's just a little. They try to make it bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah, and
I don't know. I love it. Yeah. I love CG overload.
Yeah, in those cases, I think it was done well enough that it was really nice.
Yeah. No, that's the one. In episode 3, there's the factory scene, right, where R2 is going through the
episode 2.
That's episode 2.
Okay, yeah, I didn't like that.
That was okay. That was a bit too much.
Yeah, when 3PO in that scene was making
that
jokes,
was a little bit too kitschy.
Yeah.
But after the battle scene in Revenge, excuse me. What happened?
Revenge?
in Revenge of
the Sith.
Okay, right.
It was all, I can't even remember.
Rescue Palpatine, and
I'm pregnant.
He goes, "Yeah, I'm pregnant."
You gotta
wonderful.
protect. You gotta protect her or something.
Yeah, because she's like one of two women in the whole universe.
He's having.
Well, there's
dreams.
more women in the prequel.
He's having dreams about.
The dreams. That's right, the dreams, and
much
then,
like he did with his mom.
Yeah, so it kind of really slowed down there, and
you got to see him with his shirt off.
Oh yeah. What else was going on? Wait, there's something else was going on. Okay, Obi-Wan had to go find Grievous. That's right. That was kind of cool. The whole thing going after Grievous.
There's another one of those great names.
Yeah, I love General Grievous when Obi-Wan is on. I think it was back on Geonosis or something.
Well, yeah, whatever.
I don't know what planet on it, but he jumps right down in the middle of all these.
Yeah, I know.
Battle droids and General Grievous, and he's like, "Hello there."
Yeah, I know. One thing I think they got right in 2 and 3 was showing how powerful, except for the arena thing, with Obi-Wan especially and Anakin, they were so powerful that they were so good at this that they were almost too cocky, but they weren't. You know, they knew they could handle themselves, and they could. When he jumped down there and he goes, "What's going on?" You know, it's just him, and it's not like he's not outnumbered. It's fair.
Yeah.
And that was a cool scene with him, and the whole thing where he kills Grievous with a blaster and and throws it away. It says, "So uncivilized." That was a great scene. That was really good. The other stuff that was going on was crap, though.
Yeah, I do like the scene, though. It's just one scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin where it's the last time that they see each other
that was
as brothers.
Yeah.
And it's they go through the whole thing of like, you know, may the Force be with you, Anakin. And he's like, may the Force be with you, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And it's just, then they separate.
And you know
that's
the last time.
That's the last time they're going to see each other as
because Freaking Anakin turned to the dark side so easily, and that was the they redid it because some people went, Mr. Lucas, I'm sorry, but that wasn't very, very well done.
They redid that scene?
Yeah, no, the original scene was just like Anakin and Windu coming in to talk to him, and right away Anakin switches. That whole thing where he's standing there like, oh, should I go? They put the other Jedis in there and did a whole scene around it because they came up to Lucas and said, hey, this isn't very convincing. He just like flips to the dark side. So even this way they changed it. And it still wasn't good enough. He was just like, oh, okay, the dark side.
That's where I think like watching the Clone Wars, the cartoon, kind of adds more like you've seen him get closer to that and stuff. And you got to remember too that Palpatine's been talking to him. They had the whole Cirque du Soleil scene of like, we can't save Padme. I know you're having those dreams. I know you're scared and stuff. I can fix that.
Yeah, but you know what I think it was? Because once again, I didn't feel like he was so in love with Padme, and so I didn't feel like he turned to the dark side.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Well, I think that maybe one of the keys is that they didn't illustrate well enough how he's supposedly controlled by fear.
And they didn't have... It wasn't internal enough. He wasn't like... And I don't know. Just the fact that he went and killed the younglings so quickly, I didn't... Like, he wasn't at that point.
You kind of start to see it where he... kills all the sand people in episode 2.
Yeah, I know, but then there's this huge gap.
Then, there's like too much in between. It's not fresh enough anymore.
When he kills the sand people.
Really?
Yeah.
Say what?
You hear when he kills the sand people in episode 2.
Yeah.
You hear Qui-Gon going, Anakin, no!
Oh, I do kind of remember.
Actually, to be honest with you, I remember having the subtitles on it. It says that, and I kept rewinding it over and over. I could never actually hear it. The only reason I knew it was there was because of those subtitles.
Yeah. It's real subtle. Subtle.
No, wait a minute. Cirque du Soleil scene?
Yeah.
Well, when they're in that big, like...
circus
thing with the music that goes wow, wow, wow.
Why are you guys smelling everything?
With the Lucas family?
We've got burning electronics on the set.
Oh, I thought I farted or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys are doing that, let me go over my complaint.
It doesn't seem to be this stuff. All right.
So anyway, I really don't like the way he switched. I think there should have been some more internal, like, something. At least where he could have said, I can't do this, no, or...
Yeah.
No!
It seems like he goes like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Well, and also with Mace Windu, he knows Windu...
I should have done that.
Windu never trusted him. That was, from day one, he's like, nah.
That's true,
you're the chosen one? What, do you get special treatment in the cafeteria?
And by the way, I knew from episode 1 what it meant to bring balance to the Force. Oh, it's so obvious. All the good side, there's no dark side, and there's all the light side. Let's bring balance to the Force. Let's not. Okay? Let's just leave it. We're good. We're fine.
Well, maybe it's kind of like, but it's the natural workings of the universe. You know? It's like the forest fire that gets rid of the old growth, and then things can grow again. Yes.
What is prophecy?
Go.
Yeah, he said prophecy.
Is that it?
Prophecy. It never really. Okay. I was just saying prophecy, whether you like it or not, it's prophecy.
Yeah.
Prophecy. I do like how they ended episode 3. I think that was really well done, where you got the two babies, and you got to split them up. Talk about it, and then they say,
well, the parents.
You've got the same scene in the ship that it starts on with the same place, except it's brighter and wider. Yeah, they use Downey or something, and it's got C3PO, R2D2, and they give it to the captain and say, "These are your blank his mind and whatever." And oh my, and then that was really good. And then the scene where you see the 2 kids and you see Leia at the on Alderaan, and then you see with the music with the double suns and Uncle and Aunt Beru standing there holding him. I think that was a great ending.
Poor Beru, man, she's kind of hot in 2 and 3, and that flipping desert turns into like a toad.
Oh God, that was funny.
Okay, what do you think of this?
Okay,
how do you feel about how the Emperor pulled the name Darth Vader out of his ass?
You will be.
It's almost like
we had this discussion already about what Darth Vader is.
He broke out. He was like, "I'm gonna call you," and he breaks out his phone. Let me check my app. Darth Vader. Vader, yeah.
He did a Who Is lookup.
No, he's got a Sith names app. What's his name? Anakin Skywalker.
That's
Darth
taken.
Vader.
He was seeing if the domain was available.
Yes, that's taken. Darth Vader. All right, cool.
Yeah, we don't have one.
You know what? You get bonus points as a Sith if you can
smell the electronic smell.
Yeah, something's burning, but
you get bonus points as a Sith if you can put in front of your name and it still makes sense.
That's true.
Well, actually, that's the funny thing. Whenever I saw episode 1 in the theaters, I was talking to a coworker of mine, and I was trying to figure out where the hell all these names came from, and he was saying that essentially you replace the syllable "in" with the word "Darth." Darth Vader, Insidious, Invader, and then it's okay, but there's no in mall. What the hell is in mall?
Yeah. In the shopping mall. I don't know.
Where's in helmet?
Nice. Oh, it's the lamp, huh?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, we'll start.
Yeah, all right, we're getting that kind of toasty electronic smell.
Ooh, the toasty
I think that's a sign the podcast has got
I think we're on fire.
We're on fire. We gotta keep going. Let's go.
Yeah. Because his
sounds to me like we've done
and he was thrown out a window.
Well, go. What was it?
Because, come on, guys, his name's Windu, and he got thrown out of a window.
That's going to be
on Star Wars Detours.
That's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, very fun.
Okay, so I think what's going to happen here is that sometime in the future we'll do part 2 where we'll talk about
a Windu.
How we'll talk about how you use Windex with the Windu. We'll talk about how the epic of Star Wars has touched us all in very private places.
Well, speaking of touching, everybody should Google Jar Jar Binks lollipop. Enough said.
Okay, so we'll get to. We talked just about the movies this time. Sometime in the future, we'll do part 2. We'll talk about pop culture, merchandise, longevity, prequels, George Lucas, the changing of movies from original to something else.
Should I even say it though? I just think like if you saw the movies, this podcast is kind of lost on some people because we just kind of recapped what happened in all the movies.
You know what we did? We showed the movies from our point of view, which is kind of what
from our point of view. Okay,
for those of you who don't know what Incoherent Ramblings is, it's pretty much the world the way we see it, according to us.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us, if you're a subscriber, it's probably because you think we're kind of cool.
Yeah, and this is like how we discuss things and talk about things anyways. This is how we talk about things anyways.
This is how it goes.
It's like you're sitting here with us. You're one of our buds. And
we're just doing this for us. We get when do we get together to talk about Star Wars like this? This is pretty awesome. So yeah, if you don't like it, I guess spit all over you.
Yeah, man, you're a Jar Jar.
So I think the next time will be very interesting because I'd like to get everybody's opinion. I mean, look at Daryl and Paul brought their Star Wars shirts too, and I didn't have them.
Right. There's there, black brother.
I don't have one. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have one right now either.
We call each other black brother because we wear black shirts.
Pace in the Star Wars.
Honestly, I find this to be. I thought this was a great episode. and I think Paul probably agrees with me, you guys were a little bit quieter on this one.
Yeah. We took over.
Yeah! In the past episodes, I always thought it was a little slow with you guys going at the beginning and stuff, so...
All that scientific knowledge stuff? No way, man.
I mean, I'm into it, but I'm only into it like halfway. I'm not all the way, if you know what I mean. Ugh.
You just kind of just tease it at the tip.
All right, take us out, Joey.
All right, so, wait, we got to talk about next week. I was thinking this would lead over to nothing in particular, but how about space travel? We talked about it last week.
How about faster than light travel?
Well, I was thinking we could do space travel, and that fits in with
part
that.
of it, yeah, different possibilities.
Or space exploration might be
best. It kind of depends when we can get the SpaceX
That's what
tour.
I was thinking.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
Get the what?
A tour of SpaceX.
Oh, we should wait for that. You're right.
Yeah, we're going to try to do that.
Yes.
So that's not a promise.
You're going to what?
I know someone who works at SpaceX, and we're going to try to get a tour, and we'll make it an audio tour.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I sincerely hate you.
Seriously. Wait, did you say Windu?
Where are you again? South Carolina?
What? Say again? What?
Where are you? South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yeah,
Fort.
Yeah.
Fort. Let's not brag about it.
County
Well, I know that our 20th reunion is supposed to come up. Maybe I can make a big old trip out of the whole thing.
That would be cool. Well, wait. Oh, yeah, we do have a 20th anniversary of our schooling or whatever that's called.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, well, we don't...
Is that your little black book?
Oh, wait. Okay, are things underway for the TCHS 20th?
Maybe we should talk about this when we're not on.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Because right now, it's just a ghostly sight.
We know how old you are.
Oh, we're talking about all sorts of things now. Okay, so we're going to go now. My name is...
Let me just tell the home audience that we're prospective on that SpaceX tour. So we're just probably doing it. I just don't have the details yet.
You heard
we'll
nothing.
See.
So next week
Jedi Mind Wipe.
We'll do something spacey.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, you just tune in.
All right.
All right, this is Joey Shamble. You can find my ass at www.iamrambling.com. Where's your ass, Paul?
My ass is on this black chair right here, and it's logged on to heyitspaul.com.
Daryl, what about your ass?
You can find my ass at jors.com. I won't spell it this time because you probably don't want to see my ass.
Dale, ass, go.
My ass is at Rom's Rants in my pants.
In your
blogspot.com.
I don't think in my pants was ever okay. And Booger ass. Booger ass.
Booger's ass is at ringdingchickenellakingspringfling.com.
Wow, dude. That's a good site. I like your image gallery.
If you would like to reach us through email, you can get a hold of us at show@iamrambling.com, or you can put our name in the place of show. So for me, I'm Joey.
Yeah, I'm Paul.
Well, I'm Kale.
I'm Daryl, and just so you know how to spell it, Darryl.
And I am Booger, spelled Booger.
So email us because we really want to hear from you.
Yeah, and we need coupons too.
Yeah, coupons.
Send us Groupons. What is this?
I got a coupon for you.
All right, coupons. Awesome.
So, from all of us here at the Star Wars Episode 007, we'd like to say goodbye, and we will see you next week on another effing, another exciting...
The mother of all.
It's Windu.
Mother Windu, exciting podcast from Incoherent
the toilet.
Wrestling. Thanks for listening. You can now stop screaming at the open air. Listeners should put their minds back in their upright positions and resume traditional thinking. Find us on iamrambling.com for access to all of our weekly ramblings, show notes, general discussions, and any projects from Incoherent Ramblings. Like us on Facebook and rate us on iTunes. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
I like it.